You are tuned to ARP on the Accelerated Radio Network. It's 12 noon, and it's time to have lunch. Lunch with the Finance Bunch. Lunch with the Finance Bunch. Lunch with the Finance Bunch. Bringing money talk you can understand. And now here's your host, Miss Charlene.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Lunch with the Finance Bunch. This episode is sponsored by Arcstone Financial. Today in our studio, we have the beautiful Yolanda Kelly-Williams and her handsome husband, Abraham Williams. How are you guys doing?
We are doing well.
We're doing excellent.
That's good. That's good. They are realtors and brokers.
Yes.
And they have their own real estate establishment. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, real estate.
Yes.
You know, as far as my listeners are concerned, you know, we want to have success. And a lot of them want to have success, including myself, so we can buy properties, right?
Right.
Yes.
How many properties can we own? As many as we can afford, right?
Yes,
Right.
that's true.
Exactly. So you're at the right place at the right time to tell us what we need to do so that we can become not just homeowners, but that we can buy, you know, commercial properties and, you know, what is a commercial property and all that. So I want to know all that today if we have time. How about that?
Yes, we
Sounds
love
great.
that.
Okay, and if we don't have time, I want you to promise to come back.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely.
We'll come back.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Okay, so you guys own your own real estate company or firm?
Yes, we
You do?
do. Yes. We
Okay.
have KW Estate Homes is our real estate company,
Okay.
incorporated. Well, it's actually LLC. My wife is the boss. I work for her.
Nice.
You
nice.
are. It's true.
I like that.
I'm just telling you the truth.
Girl power.
So it's KW Estate Homes, which stands for Kelly-Williams.
Uh-huh.
Prior to being married, my name is Yolanda Kelly. And so when we got married, we added the Williams with marriage. So that's where the KW comes from.
Nice.
My last name's Kelly, and my husband's last name is Williams.
So it's a perfect partnership.
Perfect partnership.
Partnership,
Yeah.
so KW Estate Homes.
Nice.
Yes,
Nice.
Yes.
Now, how long? Now, I know you guys have been in real estate for quite a while.
Yes.
Right?
Long
Quite a
time.
while.
A
So how long
time.
have you two been in real estate?
Well, I started real estate, I would say more so around 99 or
Okay.
2000, around that
So
time
it's
frame.
been a little while.
So it's been a while, and I was in real estate prior to meeting Abraham. And once we met, we brought our business together.
Okay.
He was working with his family business, and I mentioned to him that, you know, I was doing real estate. So we started buying income properties together.
Right.
And that's how we started. I actually was already doing real estate. And so while I was doing it, and then once we met, I let him know, you know, the business that I was in. And
And
was
he saw
excited
the
about
opportunity.
It.
Yeah, I saw the opportunity.
More than one opportunity.
It was more
Because you
than
got
one
a wife
opportunity.
out of it.
Yes, that was a good deal.
Yes.
Yeah, originally when we first started, I was, again, she mentioned working with the family business, and
Yes.
I was doing it part-time, and obviously she has a way to convince that this is the business you need to be in, and so she convinced me that this is the business, and it was the best move I ever made.
Yeah.
Really
Wow.
was. Yeah, so it's been 17 years for me.
Wow. So
Yes.
you guys make the perfect partnership because you're so successful.
Yes.
And you're a couple.
Oh, thank
And you have beautiful children.
Yes.
It's like watching a storybook.
Thank
It
you,
is.
Shani.
Thank you so much.
But you know what I really admire the most is that it's a true partnership.
Yes,
It really is.
You know, a true partnership where you both have equal say in the business and you work the business together. And that's just an attribute to what you can do when two people of like minds come together
Yes.
and have a common goal.
Yes, that's true.
So it's a beautiful thing.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, and it's a balance. We give each other a balance because there are some things that I can get from him, and there are things that we share together. So it's definitely a balance
Okay.
in the business because he handles commercial and I do
Right.
residential.
Okay.
So we
That was
balance
my
each
next
other.
question.
Oh, okay.
Which part do you handle? So you do more of the commercial
Yes,
side of things.
Yes, I actually started off with residential, which I love. And my wife was a big part of that, me understanding the residential. And then after, doing residential for so long, you want to kind of progress, evolve. And so
Right.
that's what I did. I evolved into the commercial industry, which is a different animal in itself.
Yes.
It's really non-emotional. That particular side of the
I
business.
like that part of it
Yeah,
too. That it's
I
not
like that
emotional.
part. No,
Yeah.
and it's all about the numbers.
That's right.
If the numbers make sense, then people move forward. If they don't, they don't
They
move
don't.
forward. No, it's bottom line.
Exactly. And there's no emotion tied to it. It either
No.
works or it doesn't.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
They're non-emotional buyers or sellers.
Or sellers, right?
Yes.
And now, but on the residential
Residential
side,
is-
we both know,
It's very emotional.
as being a loan officer and a lender,
Yes.
and you being in real estate, you know that's very emotional.
It's very emotional. You have sometimes when you're working with a buyer or a seller,
Right.
well, if it's a buyer, sometimes the fear is overwhelming.
That's
To
right.
not know what that next step is.
Exactly.
And so, and then with the sellers, since they've already purchased before, now they're selling. It's still a first-time experience for them
Right.
to have to sell.
That's right.
So now it's where do we go? We know we want to sell, but where do we go? So it's very emotional, and it's a decision that's made upon family, especially if they're moving and they have kids. We're talking about schools. We're talking about a place that they can go that everyone is satisfied.
Exactly.
The kids and the parents as well. So it's very emotional.
Yeah, and then on the financial side of things, you know, getting them pre-qualified and
Yes.
holding their hand through that process, and you know, asking for additional paperwork in some, you know, cases, and then, you know, they'll think, oh my God, now do I not qualify? It's like,
Yes.
no, you still qualify. We just need additional documentation. So,
Yes.
yeah, so it's like it's a partnership too
Yes.
between the lender and the realtor and the lender, and in your case, you know, whoever's buying or selling their commercial property.
Right.
You know, and on the lending side of things, whether it's emotional or not emotional, it's still a process that
It's
has
still
to
a
happen
process, yes.
Right.
so that the transaction can take place, right?
Right.
So, yeah,
Yes, it's a definite hold hand process.
right.
Hold the hand, walk you through, be patient process.
Yeah, definitely. Now, most realtors average staying in this business for maybe 7 years because it is such a competitive business.
Yes.
And you guys have been around for, in your case, 19, almost 20 years?
yes,
And then in
since
your case,
99.
17
17 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that in itself shows longevity and the success that you've attained. What do you attribute that to?
You know, for me, it's just really loving the business, having a passion for the business. Originally getting into business, obviously, as a realtor, you look at, you know, the money aspect of it.
Right.
But then that evolves and that changes too. So
Yes.
for me, it's just a love of the business.
Okay.
We do just doing the transactions, helping homeowners or investors buy, purchase, or sell. I think that's, for me, that's what's sustained the longevity in the business, and having a good partner too.
Exactly.
Right? Because at times you get, you know, when the market dips up and down, you don't know which way to go.
Right.
And we had staying power. We had some good people in our lives too, good coaches,
Yes.
good mentors
Yes.
that guided us through the tough times, in the up, the good, bad times in our lives.
And also repeat and referral business.
Yes.
Clients that we've serviced and given them great service, they call us back. Family after family, the referrals. And also for us is, like Abraham mentioned, just having a passion for it.
Right.
We still are all in and we're still loving it. And doing it together really helps too, because we're by us doing it together and having a passion for it, we still have that excitement.
Yeah.
Right.
So we still talk to other realtors and brokers, and they're like, "You guys are not tired?"
Yeah.
Because this is full time. There's
Right.
no other part time. There's not where I'm working part time doing real estate and selling
something else.
insurance
Right.
somewhere else. This is full time for me.
Right.
Now my other part time, which is my first love, are my kids.
Right.
So I do both with my kids and with the real estate business. But as far as us doing the real estate together, we're all in.
Yes.
It's a together business.
And I think that's the difference. I think that's the commitment, is because you are all in.
Yes.
That I know if I pre-qualify someone and I send them to you, I know they're in capable, good hands.
Yes.
You know, and I know that you're going to do the best for them that they can get.
Right.
You know, so that in and of itself makes it, you know, I'm fortunate to work with really good realtors
Yes.
that really care about their client and their referrals.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, because referral is everything.
It is.
Right?
That's
So
right.
if you do a good job, they will send people to you, and if you don't, they will tell everybody.
Oh,
You know,
Right.
you're right, and that's how.
Oh,
That's
yes.
one reason to piggyback on that we've been able to sustain and last this long in the business is a repeat and referral business.
Yes.
Yes.
We'll do probably 10 to 15 deals or more just off of referrals.
Wow.
You know, that's just off of referrals, just coming in, and we don't know where they're coming from. Well, actually, we do know where they're coming from, but we're not.
It's not solicited.
It's not solicited business.
Right. It's referred business that just comes back to you because you did such a good job in the past.
And that's one of the things we offer. We say, and our slogan is world-class service. You have to offer world-class service. They need to have an experience, not just go through the motions.
Right. And I like that. They have to have an experience.
Yes.
Because when you purchase a home or a piece of commercial property, no matter how many you buy, no matter whether it's your first property or your 20th property, it's an experience.
It is.
Right? And that experience can be great or it cannot be so great.
Right.
And so a lot of times what helps that experience be something positive are, of course, the professionals that are involved guiding them through the process.
Right, right. There's a lot of hurdles and pitfalls in real estate.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
fortunately enough, we've been around to see a lot of it, so we can kind of guide our clients through that process, so to give them the best experience possible.
Nice. So I have some questions here that things people want to know that, we kind of take sometimes for granted.
Yes.
But, people want to know how should they be prepared when they come to see you? In your case, Yolanda, you have a person who's coming to purchase a home for the very first time. How should they be prepared when they come to see you?
When they come to see me. Okay, well, when a buyer is interested in purchasing a home for their very first time, you would need to have three things. You would need to have job stability, credit, and you need to have finance. Some sort of finance saved up.
Right.
And if you have those three things, we could definitely work with you in making sure that we get you out there to get into a home. But the first step is definitely to seek a lender.
Right.
You have to have a lender, and that's where we come in at and working together. They need to know exactly what they qualify for.
Right.
Because oftentimes buyers will go out of excitement. We have so much social media now that they'll go on the internet, they'll drive by, but they may be looking at a home that's not in a price range that they would want to pay monthly.
Right.
So you will want to get qualified first. Know what your finances are. Know what you qualify for, so that when you do go out shopping for your home, your dream home, when you go out to shop, you want to make sure that you're shopping within your budget.
Yes.
Because there's nothing worse than going out trying to purchase a home that's way over your head. And you're now living to only pay a mortgage.
Right.
You've forgotten all about how to live and enjoy life because you're so wrapped around having to pay the mortgage.
Right.
So you want to know, first step is making sure that your finances, going to meet with a financial consultant, a financial person. And then after that, once that financial person that you've met with provide you with a pre-approval letter, then my partnership begins with that lender, and then partnership, and the buyer comes back with me, and then I then take them out and start showing them properties in their price range.
Exactly. Because there's nothing worse than looking at homes and, like you said, you don't want to be house rich and life poor.
Right.
You don't.
That's true.
You want it to be a totally balanced experience.
Right.
Absolutely.
And you don't want to go out looking at a home that may be outside of that comfortability.
Absolutely. It may not be conducive to your income.
And it may not, and there's so many homes that you can look at that are in your price range.
Right.
In your price range, yes.
Make it a positive experience all the way
Yes.
around.
Absolutely.
It needs to be.
Right?
It needs to be.
Exactly.
It needs to be. And then just taking them from start to finish. Taking them sometimes when they're a first-time buyer, they're very nervous.
Yes.
Very. I've had a young lady that come in to meet with me, and she was so afraid. You remember our client that came in? And she was so nervous and so afraid to purchase a home that I sat with her and helped her. Her hands was trembling.
No, you're talking about the one in Long Beach?
Yes.
Oh, no, she was actually crying.
Wow.
Crying.
With nose running, and Yolanda had nervousness. The fear level had just went, I have never seen it before like that.
Kind of in a 50-ish age group, and she was just petrified to purchase. So when she came in, I sat with her and I talked to her prior to even going out to do the showing to let her know what to expect. Once we did the showing, we came back in. She identified a property that she liked. I expressed to her what an offer was and what we were going to do to get that taken care of. We did the offer, and in the midst of doing the offer, when it was time for her to sign, she cried. She was so nervous. She had to stop and call family and friends.
Wow.
And I put my arms around her,
Yeah.
put my hand on top of hers. I said, we are going to sign this contract today
Right.
so that we can take you to that next level of home ownership.
Right.
And be proud of home ownership.
Yeah.
So,
Now, you know, we have a lot of millennials,
Yes.
and they want to buy a home too.
Yes.
You know, and they want to buy a home in Beverly Hills as their first home, or Palos Verdes, or whatever other affluent areas.
Yeah.
And if they are in the financial position to do that, great. You know, but, you know, I think one of the things I want to express is that your first home that you purchase may not be the last home that you purchase.
No.
And in most cases, it's not.
No.
no.
So to start off smaller
Yes.
and then, you know, grow as your income grows, or grow as the need is, you know, grows, can be a plan too.
Yes.
So I know, Yolanda, when you bought your first home, right? I want you to talk about that experience a little bit, because I think it would really be inspiring to others.
Yes.
And because we talked about this. And so could you tell us a little bit about your first purchase?
With my first purchase, it was with my mom and I. We had gone down to meet with the realtor. We had gone in a penny saver.
Okay.
And we looked through the penny saver and we found the house that we thought was a perfect house. 3-bedroom with the pool, so we were excited. So we went down to meet with the realtor, and we got there, and we told him, this is the house that we want. We had it circled, and he said to us, okay. So he had to check our financial background and to see what we would qualify for. And I think at the time I qualified for like 100,000, like 120, and he felt, the realtor at the time felt that that's not worth his while of taking us out on a showing. He would rather that we qualify for more. But I was like, I'm fresh out of college, okay, and 100,000 to qualify for 100,000.
That was a big deal to you. You're like,
huge.
wait a minute, this is
That's a lot of money.
Yes.
I was ready to go paint the world. 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a swimming pool is what I thought I was getting.
Right.
So instead of him educating me and letting me know that could be maybe your second or third home.
Right.
But let's start here.
Right.
So we end up purchasing a condo first. And with the condo, we lived there for a while, but then we were able to take that condo and move to a townhome.
Right.
So now that the second property with the townhome, we moved from the town, we stayed there at the townhome for a couple of years. Then from the townhome, the third move was to the 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom.
Yeah.
But by then, Abraham and I had met.
Yeah.
Right.
So then we started, because the first one was my mom and I together. And then on the second property, it was on my own. Then when I got to the third one, Abraham and I started purchasing together. So we went from homeowners to investors.
Right.
Because we started purchasing property, flipping it.
Right.
We lived in one, and every 2 years we did the capital gain, and so we had the condo, which we kept. We moved to the townhome, which we kept.
Right.
And then by the time we got to our home, we lived in that one. Now we have 2 rentals.
Right.
And those created residual income,
Yes.
which paid for our home,
Exactly.
our 3-bedroom, 2-bath.
Right.
So that's how we started out getting into
And
investment
investments, yes.
in the business. So we were doing it as realtors,
Right.
but then we became realtor/investors and started purchasing income property.
Nice.
Then it got out of control.
Then you said, I want to buy this one. But you know
just
what?
it.
That's a testament to
Yes.
never feel bad about humble beginnings.
No.
Because as a young person, you may only qualify to purchase that 1-bedroom condo.
Yes.
Right.
Or that studio condo.
Right.
Yes.
But that's enough room for you at the time.
Yeah.
You buy it, you hold on to it for a while. When your income increases, keep it,
Keep
Yes.
rent it out,
Yes.
and move to the next one. And like you
Absolutely.
said, now you are not only an owner, but you have an investment property
Right.
that's paying for itself,
Yes.
right? And maybe giving you residual income.
Right.
So that's how the way you can move from property to property.
Right.
So I wanted to get that out there because, sometimes even, no matter how old you are, you're never too young unless you're under 18, and you're never too old to purchase a property.
Absolutely.
Never.
Right?
And don't.
Yes.
And there is a process, like Yolanda was saying.
Right.
If you can afford it, if you have the money and you
Yes.
can live in Beverly Hills or
That's
Palos
great.
Verdes, I mean, fantastic. Newport
Right.
Beach, God bless you.
Right.
But if you can't, like the average person,
Right.
they have to take the steps.
That's
And-
right.
And don't skip the process.
Right.
Statistics show that the average person holds the property for 5 years before they sell it
Right.
or refinance
Or refinance it,
Right.
right.
So knowing that, that's not going to be your last
That's
stop.
right.
Right. It's just a stepping stone.
Yes. It's
a
And
stepping stone.
what else can you buy besides real estate and get a 10-year money back guarantee?
That's right.
You
can't.
can't.
You
The
can't.
market goes up and down. We know
Yes.
it's cyclical,
Right.
so you're going to get a money back guarantee in your real
Yes.
estate.
That's right.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
true.
Now, on the commercial side,
Yes.
now what defines a property as commercial?
Usually it's for income, like apartments. It's 5 units or more.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
5 units or more.
Okay.
That's how we define a commercial income property. Or it could be a commercial building, that you're having a business in.
Yes.
Like a Starbucks or a Subway. That can be a commercial property as well.
Yes.
But our focus is on those commercial properties as well as the commercial income property.
Okay. Now, I know you and I had a conversation a while back when you said that there are commercial buildings that people walk by every day and don't realize it could be a profit center for them.
It can.
Because it doesn't look like what they would think it should look like.
Right, exactly. So there can be deferred maintenance. There can be, you walk by commercial properties all the time, and typically what I see is people walking by the building and looking at it in a negative light.
Right.
But there's a building that I had a client purchase, and the city was going through a change in their ordinance,
Yes.
and it looked like a dump. It looked pretty bad. But because we were able to do the due diligence, I knew that particular building was in the redevelopment zone.
Wow.
Right? So because it's in the redevelopment zone, the value was there.
Right.
So what you looked at on the outside really wasn't the potential of the
potential.
building.
Yes.
Right. So we did that. He ended up fixing it up and putting a Starbucks there. So
Nice.
Starbucks is now his tenant.
Wow.
Because we knew that was a redevelopment zone.
That was a redevelopment zone.
So it's money there.
So I would say that to have a realtor that understands what the person is looking for and the environment that's going on in the communities and in the neighborhoods
Yes.
is key to being successful.
You have to.
Absolutely.
You have to know your landscape. You have to know what's happening in the community. On the commercial side, you have to know the city ordinances that are out there, what's changing, the demographics.
Right.
It's very important. I had a client who he didn't know. I had the buyer on this side. I was representing a buyer, and the other gentleman was selling the property. And
The sell by owner.
yeah, and the gentleman was he didn't have a realtor representing him or a broker, so he didn't know that the city changed their ordinances and their zoning. So he was selling the property for $1.3 million. That property was really worth 2.3, but
Wow.
because he didn't know his homework and do his homework and what was happening in the city, unfortunately, my buyer benefited from that.
Wow.
Right, so he made $1 million off just
Wow,
understanding.
Just understanding.
Yes, understanding.
So it's very important. Now, so for you, Abe, when a commercial buyer comes to you, what's important for them to have?
They need to know. Typically, with a commercial buyer, they're not. It's not their first time.
Right.
Right.
It's not
They've
their
already
first
bought property
rodeo.
before.
Right.
It's not their first rodeo.
Yeah.
They're usually buying property to either use it as a tax shelter, or they're buying property because they want to make a certain amount of return on their money.
Okay.
ROI, return on investment.
Return on investment,
Right.
uh-huh.
So they're buying it for usually two reasons, typically, and so they need to know. Well, I need to know as the broker what their intentions are.
Right.
Right. And then also the areas. And and particularly sometimes it doesn't matter. Like if you want to live in Westwood, we know their return on investment is not going to be as high as if they had a building in Gardena. Right. So they need to know exactly where they want to be, and that's why I asked them. They may say, Abraham, I want to find a building with upside. Well, how much upside are you looking for? 10%, 15%. We need to have that conversation, and they're savvy enough to know what they're looking for. Yeah, it's more so kind of on the commercial end of it. The buyers, they know. Now, if you're coming from a residential and then you've bought so many properties, now you're stepping up to commercial. Then then I can guide you and say this is what I think you should do with your properties. Or this is the type of investment I think you should purchase as you're just starting in the commercial business.
Right. And the thing I love about both of you is that you speak from experience.
Yes.
Because you've owned residential properties and you've owned commercial properties and you've bought and sold both, and so you know what it takes to be successful. So when someone comes to you, they're getting that experience. Right.
They're getting the life experience that we've experienced, the hurdles and pitfalls on both sides of the coin. We've been on the investor side, which we are on the investment side. We've been fearful as a first-time buyer side. We've experienced that as well. We've gotten with investors who presented, they made it seem like they were really knowledgeable what they were doing. They can talk the talk, but they couldn't walk the walk. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. So they could not do that, and so we've lost money just because being so new. And not understanding. So it's important to get with someone who understands, who has your best interest at hand.
At heart. On both sides.
On both sides.
Whether it's residential or commercial.
Absolutely.
To be with someone who has your best interest at heart first. And absolutely understands, like you said, the landscape, the neighborhoods, the communities, and what you're trying to accomplish.
Absolutely.
To lead you to that.
Yes. I believe that.
I'm so glad we're friends. I feel safe with you guys.
And that's another thing. We want the clients to feel safe. We're completely transparent with them. We're honest with them, and there's no hidden punches. And I think that's the way it should be in real estate all the way around.
It really should.
Right? You create long-lasting relationships that'll last forever.
And our clients are our friends and family.
Right.
They do.
Yeah,
Exactly.
When at our first meeting, we're clients.
Right.
We're a realtor, broker, and client.
Right.
And then as the transaction goes, at the end and we close, we still keep in touch. And we become friends, and we go to each other's house, and we have dinners, and we do things together. So our clients become friends and family.
Exactly. The other thing that happens, I notice, is that not only do they refer business, but when their children get old enough to purchase a home, they send them to you because they felt safe. When their cousin, brother, friend wants to purchase a home or a commercial property, what do? Send them to you because they feel safe. So to feel that the realtor has your best interest at heart, and there's evidence of it all over the place. It's just wonderful. Now, what is a broker exactly? What defines a broker? What's the difference between a realtor and a broker?
Well, typically the broker is the real estate agent has the real estate license, and they work underneath a broker. So the broker is the one that has the office, and the realtors have to hang their license or place their license with that real estate broker. They can't go out on their own. They always have to have a broker to basically house their license. So that's the general difference.
And with a broker, you can operate both sides.
So that's the advantage.
That's the advantage. We can
Abraham, with his broker's license, he can do residential and commercial if he chooses to. But typically, they don't always mix. Residential stays on residential, and commercial stays on commercial. But with having a broker's license, he can also do loans. He can also
do escrow. You can do quite a bit. Escrow, property management. You can do loans. You can do the listing side, the buyer side. You can it's a broader spectrum.
So you have a broader spectrum
of what you can
on
do.
The whole real estate experience.
Yes.
Wow.
Right. It just has a large overview of the real estate business as a whole.
Wow. So you guys, between the two of you, cover the whole thing.
We cover the whole spectrum from A to Z.
A to Z. That's wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, What would you say to someone who is purchasing a property that is concerned? We touched on it lightly at the beginning. What would you say to someone who is thinking about purchasing a home and they say, is the value going to be there when I buy the home? Am I going to have future value in this property? What would you say to someone who asked that question?
For me, I said that we touched on it a little bit. Real estate is the only investment that I know that you can get a 10-year money-back guarantee.
Right.
So we know the market goes up and down. Yes. It's going to go up and down. But now there's, you think about this. I remember my grandmother purchased her house. I think she bought it for maybe $30,000. Right. The interest rate was probably 18% back then.
Right.
That was high. That same house, when she sold it, it may have been worth about $250. So she went through multiple cycles. Right. But at the end of the day, she sold that property for 10 times what she purchased it for.
Yeah.
Right. So we went through. Everyone know we went through a tough time in 2008.
Ooh, yes.
Right? 2007, 2008.
Yes.
We were able to keep our home. The home dipped down. It dropped.
Yes.
But then it went right back up.
Yes, it did.
Right? So real estate is cyclical. You have to have staying power. So a person who's looking to buy a home and they're concerned about the future of the property, if you're planning to just do a quick flip, I would want to know what's going to happen in the next 6 to 18 months.
Yes.
But if you're looking to hold the property, then that shouldn't be a concern. There's technology now that can look at the past and that can look at the future. So we can use artificial intelligence to predict where the market's going to be.
Wow.
It's not 100% accurate, but it's about 95, 96% accurate to tell you where the market's going to be in the future.
That's amazing.
And then where else can you create a residual income?
Right.
In your home, you're living, your day-to-day, just living in your home.
Right.
And as you're living there, enjoying your home, creating dreams, you're making money off of the home.
Right. That's very true.
Because you generations grow up. As Abraham mentioned, his grandmother buying a house back during that time. Imagine how many kids were raised and families were raised in that home that created a residual income.
Right, exactly. So
Everyone
at the end, when
lived.
someone sold it, it was worth and was sold for, like you said, 10 times
more than
what she paid for it.
So the profit was there.
Right. Now, I want to switch gears a little bit. And, some people think, I don't need a realtor. I'm going to go out and sell my own house. What are the pros and cons of that?
Oh, yes.
What are the pros? Because So please tell us, what are the pros and cons?
On the commercial side, I gave a little bit of example of the person that I was representing the buyer, so my fiduciary duty is to the buyer.
Right.
And so this particular seller was selling a property commercial on his own.
Ooh.
And so he didn't understand what happened with the dynamics in the city. They did rezoning. So that $1.3 million property that my client purchased it for was really worth $2.3. So he lost $1 million for not understanding, and that's an extreme example, but it is one that's real
example.
That happens.
Yes.
It exists,
And then we know on the residential side that for sale by owners typically sell for about 18% less than what a realtor can get for the property.
Wow.
That's a big big difference.
For 6%, they're giving up 18%.
Yes.
So the net loss is 12 to 14%, right?
Yes.
8 to 10%, right?
That's exactly right.
So it makes sense to go with a realtor because your net return is going to be more because they are professionals who are going to guide you through the process.
Exactly.
Guide you through the process, and also for sale by owner will also get their comparables to know what a home value is worth from Trulio and from Zillow.
Right.
And those are search engines for buyers that are actually looking to purchase a home.
Right.
But they will try to use those those search engines as comparables, which is not good for them because they're really leaving money on the table.
Wow.
As far as their equity goes.
Equity goes, yeah.
Yes.
And what if a sell by owner typically what they're saying to you if they want to do it themselves, you haven't created enough value for them. right?
Right.
They don't see the
They don't
value
see
in
the
you.
value.
That's what they're telling you.
Yes.
So you have to show them your value,
Right.
There's so many things that happen in a real estate transaction.
yes.
My wife and I know this, and a lot of times they just think you put the house on the market and it's going to sell. But it's more than that to maximize their return on their
On
investment,
investment,
right?
yes.
So they know what they're saving, but they don't know what they're losing.
What they're losing.
They don't
yeah.
know.
They don't
And
know.
so we've dealt with multiple for sale by owners who tried on their own at first and then end up working with us or working with a realtor.
Because sometimes
Wow.
our main focus is commission.
Yes.
Yeah.
They don't want to have to pay a commission.
Right.
So when you're cutting corners on not cutting out the commission, you're actually losing on your on your return on your equity.
Yes.
So you're losing your equity because you don't know the true value of your home, and you're not wanting to pay out the commissions because, again, as Abraham mentioned, you don't see the value.
Right.
But so our commission will balance out because
Right.
once you pay us, then we can net you the most amount of money for
For
your
your
house
house.
in the shortest
Yes.
amount of time
Yes.
with the fewest amount of problems.
Right.
Because when you're trying to sell it on your own, there's so much paperwork involved
Yes.
now.
Yes.
And it's
there is.
paperless.
Yes.
So where are they going to get the disclosures
Right.
for their home?
Right. Oh, I love that. Okay, thank you for explaining that. Now, this we got to do quickly. This is our balance sheet.
Okay.
And these are the fun questions we get to ask you. We got to do it quick because we're out of time. But
Oh no, you're kidding me.
I know, so
Oh,
fun,
my God.
right?
Yes.
So
Part 2.
part 2. Yes, we'll definitely have to do a part 2.
Yes.
So, what was your most memorable paycheck?
Oh.
And this segment is sponsored by you as our guest, and we want to thank you for that.
Oh, thank
So,
you.
thank you so much for sponsoring this segment.
Yes.
Absolutely, and thank you for having us as well.
Definitely. So,
I'll let you answer
most
that one.
favorable.
Our most favorable check,
Most memorable.
most memorable,
Uh-huh.
is when we purchased our own home.
Oh, okay.
We bought a home. This is after we had gone through a couple of properties that are investment properties, and when we decided to purchase our home, a home together, it was in a new development, and it was so sweet to know that the developer is going to pay us to buy our own home.
Oh, and we're going to have to talk about that on the next episode, how that happens.
Yes.
That is a sweet check.
Yeah, it was
Yes,
a sweet
so
check.
that's what it was. Our own. They paid us to
Purchase your own home.
Absolutely.
Wow. What is the one purchase you regret?
The one purchase we regret is when we bought the income property down.
Oh, in Long Beach.
In Long Beach.
Oh, God. Yeah,
Oh,
this
no.
particular property, well, I love Long Beach.
Yeah.
But we bought a property, and I told the guy, I didn't want him to know that we were the owners. So I told him
Right.
I was a property manager.
Okay.
And I told him no dogs. And when I went into the yard to collect the rent, a pit bull chased me out the yard. And I didn't know I can jump that high. I literally jumped. I cleared a 5-foot fence
Oh, wow.
in slacks.
Oh.
Right. So I didn't know I had
Wow.
springs in my feet. So I called the guy so mad, and I told Yolanda what happened.
came home with a
I'd
hole
had
in his pants.
hole in my pants, and I'm bleeding.
no.
And I said, you know what? We got to sell this house. We got to sell this house today.
Oh,
And so we
wow.
sold it probably the next week. We sold that house. I was so mad.
Oh, wow.
You know, that was the worst purchase.
So, okay, here's another question. What do you know now that you wish you knew back then?
Yolanda, you want to answer that one?
What would have been ideal is to have a mentor. It was so important that we went through all of the bumps and bruises.
Yes.
And it would have saved us. It would have
A
cut
lot of
out
time.
a lot of the learning curve.
Okay.
And it would have cut out a lot of time had we had mentors that could have given us the blueprint and say, here, this is how you do
So
it.
the lesson of the day is you recommend that realtors have a mentor.
Yes, you have to.
You have to have a mentor.
It cuts
And
the learning curve.
Perfect.
And books.
And books.
And books. Okay.
Reading is so important to keep up and stay on the cutting edge.
Now, what does success mean to you?
That's a good. We have these conversations all the time. We're looking at each other.
We got 30
what?
seconds.
What one of our coaches told us: success is the progressive realization of a worthwhile dream or goal. It is.
Oh,
It's-
say that again.
Success is the progressive realization of a worthwhile dream or goal.
Yeah.
It's constantly evolving. So what was
Yes.
success to you 10 years
10 years
ago
ago.
is different today.
That's right.
It's constantly progressing.
Ooh, okay. So, and do you feel you're successful?
Yes.
Absolutely.
We are.
Yes, you are.
Successful. We love being in the business together. We're partners for life, connected at the hip. And we have two
Beautiful
kids
kids.
two beautiful kids that just gives us so much fulfillment.
Wow. And one last question. If you won the lottery right now, what would you do with the money?
We'll do the happy dance first. We're going to do the happy dance first. But the money, you know what? We want to create a legacy. So one of the things we want to do, we believe in giving back, giving beyond ourselves. So we would definitely create a foundation. We would give to our church.
Yes.
We'll make sure our kids are taken care of. What else?
And just be a philanthropist. I told my husband, I say, whenever we come into money that we see as being money, I want to make sure that I'm giving back. So definitely we do some philanthropist work.
And money is not necessarily, it's not all about giving back money.
Right.
Sometimes you help people build their business.
Yes.
Right? Teach them how to fish.
Teach them how
instead
to
of giving them the fish.
Yes, yes,
Right?
yes.
So.
Oh, this has been so good. I hate to let you guys go. You got to come back. You got to come back.
So
And please tell us the name of your business again and how we can follow you, find you, contact you.
KW Estate Homes is the name of our business.
Yes.
And you can search us on all the social media links, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, on KW at kwestatehomes.com.
And Instagram too.
And Instagram too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you so much
Oh,
for
thank
coming
you.
in. This has
we
been
love
such
it.
a pleasure.
It was too quick.
Too quick.
We
You
need
gotta
more
come
time.
back.
Yes.
You got to come back. Great.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Well, this
Lunch
is
with the
Miss
Finance
Charlene
Bunch.
and Lunch with the Finance Bunch.
Yes.
And today we are so, so happy to have had Yolanda and Abraham from KW Estates join us. And you can follow us on Instagram, all the social medias at The Finance Bunch. So thank you so much. Again, Yolanda and Abraham, thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having
You got
us.
to come back.
We're coming back.
We will.
Yay!
Oh, we love the family.
Thank you. This was great.
It really was.